Of course I had to fuck that up.
wook+live. Welcome back to wook+live.
I should have talked or something.
No, I love it. It's such a bold choice to just do an ASMR, like nostalgic, just a dad just boom. Oh my god, it was awesome. Great job, Kev.
Hey, is that stoner music, fam?
I like your pinky ring, Kev, with the sunroof. And
yes,
now.
yeah. You know what? Leaving MSG, stone fell out, and the jewelry store is getting me another stone, but it had to be measured and cut. And...
yeah, the stone fell out, Kev. I'm sure.
Oh, it did fall. I got on the damn path train to go back to Jersey, and I was like, shit.
There was nothing stashed under that stone, for sure.
I walked 10 blocks at that point. There was no way I was finding it.
Yeah, not in New York, but I honestly have hung out with you many times over the last 2 years. Never knew you wore a pinky ring.
Yeah, it was.
I needed that zoom in shot.
It was when my stepfather died. It was in his stuff, and I put it on. That was like 7 years ago. So
sentimental story there. Sounds
yeah. Thank you, there, Katie.
Oh, look at this crystal.
Nice.
So we got a fun show come tonight. We got an awesome guest, 2 guests actually, Alex and Chris from Taper's Choice. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I kind of want to get through some admin stuff, some housekeeping, right off the top, if you guys don't mind. We have some things coming up with Osiris and HF Pod that we'll be announcing soon. But if you guys don't know, this is the announcement. But if you guys aren't familiar, HF Pod is this awesome podcast. Everybody knows who the fuck they are, but awesome fish podcast that also does similar shit that we do, recapping fish and talking about a jam ban ad nauseum. And a lot of people online have brought up a comparison of us, and I'm convinced that they are by far the better, more knowledgeable fish fans. But there's only one true way to find out. So I'm happy to announce that. Get that shit out of here. Yes, it's awesome. We're gonna go head to head and finally
the return of game night.
I mean, I was gonna say, if you thought training for the last couple game nights was intense, training for this one,
I'm getting out the medicine ball as soon as I finish up here.
Oh, you'll get out the medicine all right. I don't know if it'll be a ball, but
it will be like that scene from Anchorman where all the nerdy newscasters get together and battle it out. It's finally going to happen. The podcast battle. YouTubers.
We're not even versus... a podcast. That's
YouTubers. YouTubers versus podcasters in the real ultimate battle of nerddom. Who will survive? Who will win?
I think in order to keep it fair, we need to have Wook trivia too, right? Like some gas balloon questions in there. If it's just fish, I think they'll blow us out of the water.
How many balloons are in a tank?
Yeah. How many tanks did they have at the last Taper's Choice show?
Ooh, that's a good question there.
As long as folks are picking up their balloons, I've got to get on my, you can have as many tanks as you want. Just pick those things up. That's what we say here at wookplus.
Yeah.
Public service announcement.
Any other things we got to announce? We'll be back with after show recaps 10 minutes after encore every single night of tour.
I think that was called the After Fish After Show.
Yeah, the wookplus After Fish After Show.
Because we like lots of names and titles.
Llama, you want me to jump into a commercial and move on with this, or do you want to just awkwardly chat for a little bit more?
I don't know, man. It's up to you. You're running it. I'm just excited for our guest.
Yeah, Llama's excited.
Dude, I can't wait. I love having musicians on. I mean, like, it was fun talking when we have, like, we've had writers and journalists and photographers and artists and all sorts of people, but I love talking musicians, man. That's what we're all here for, right? All right, yeah, I think we should go into the commercial. I'm too excited. So let's take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll have Alex and Chris from Taper's Choice.
Wake up. Lilac Palace, for when you let someone into your garden.
Oh, God damn. Hey, guys. Welcome to wookplus,
guys.
First wookplus commercial break, and it was extraordinary. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
And Natalie Portman, man, you can't go wrong with Natalie Portman when she's in your commercials.
We spare no expense.
I almost don't even want to explain the commercial for those who don't know. It's like when you know, you know.
Like most perfume and fragrance ads.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh. Well, that was actually our first ad that we've ever done.
We had a long talk in the van that day about whether or not we
weren't sure if we were going to use it, but it seemed like it paid off.
You went the right direction for sure.
People come to shows being like, I heard you first in that Natalie Portman ad.
Yeah.
So
it's not selling out; it's cashing in. You just got to look at it that way.
Definitely.
Right.
I really love that song, though. It's like a really beautiful composition, which is cool because the first show I had listened to of you guys, it was a lot more spacey jams and less composed. And so it's cool to hear that range that the band has. And I'm curious, out of like the spectrum of like the really beautiful composed ballads to like the really funky jams, if either of you guys have a preference as to what kind of things you enjoy playing more. I'm sorry, I'm jumping right into it, but I know like I personally love playing the beautiful stuff, right? But I don't know if you have a preference or not.
I mean, there are different parts of the brain of the set. I would say my first, this is not actually an answer. This is what your question made me think of, is when I would listen to, because having tapes like this of a show is sort of a new thing to me, and sort of like almost thinking of it like game film a little bit, which not everyone in Taper's Choice does. Some people actively don't listen to it. But sometimes listening for a set and kind of feeling like, there was too much space in this one. We kind of need something to kind of ground us over the course of the set. We need a couple more tunes here. That's kind of an interesting thinking about songwriting and the first couple shows and like what I felt worked in the moment, what kind of worked more in the tape, the two different, sometimes they match up, sometimes they don't.
And what do you do with that when you go to your tapes then? Do you like plan out your set, or is it just something you guys discuss and have in the back of your mind? Like, is there actual adjustments to your show?
When I'm listening to the shows, like the biggest takeaway I usually have, which maybe this is a sort of slant answer to your question, is like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, we could have done that longer. Like, I feel like learning to jam well is to learn to jam patiently. And you know, like, I don't know, it's kind of like, you know how you guys probably have this problem. I don't know. Whenever I look at any photo that I'm in, I just look at myself and then I decide whether or not that's a good or bad photo. You know, I'm like, no, this is a terrible photo. I look like shit in it. You know,
the same thing when you're listening to your band play, right? You're listening to the bass.
Bass exclusively, but I mean, I'll, you know, like, and probably quite critically, but I'll
you should check out the other guys. We're doing some really good stuff.
You guys, I'm lucky to have you. Trust me. But you know, it's like, oh, I don't have to like rush to like change the part. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a tough skill though, because while you're playing, if I'm sure it feels, maybe I'm speaking from my own experience, like it feels like it's a very long time, right? And then when you listen, it's completely different. It's so much shorter.
Our average song length is like 13 minutes, so not long enough.
We did our first festival set last weekend at a festival called Huachica in Sonoma. Wine Country Sonoma.
Yeah.
We had a 50-minute set and we played 4 tunes. And even that was like, is not what I'm used to when I'm approaching a festival set or like thinking about a set list. But I've had the same exact thought of like listening to a tape is a very, very different experience than playing. Of like thinking what's working, what's not, but then also just like, oh damn, you didn't have to change there. Like part of the thing I'm learning is like, oh, you gotta change, you gotta do a fill, you gotta blah, blah, blah. And that's not true as much. Like you can lay back in something and you can luxuriate almost in a groove or a certain part before
every bar doesn't have to change, right? You can just have it go for a while.
There's a famous story about Garcia pushing Phil Lesh down the steps, and they use those performances to make Live Dead. So what you're experiencing sometimes is not what's translated out of it, I guess.
Totally. And I think about that all the time, just getting off stage in any band, whether or not we're jamming. You know, the famous story about how they like came to blows over a show and then listened to it and we're like, that was pretty awesome.
We did it. We did it.
Pretty good.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I come off stage often, not in this, actually never in this band. I'm usually the like, I'm like,
you're the positive.
That was sick. Yeah. That was sick. But, you know, like, I'm sure it'll happen where I'm like, that was terrible. You can't convince me otherwise. And like, I don't know. It's just like, it's not a great.
Well, you used a phrase for mistakes I've never heard before that I really liked. Like, you know, there were a couple of clamps. There were a couple of clamps.
Yeah.
But it was all good.
I mean, being critical, but also maintaining like a positive attitude, I think is a good thing. I think it's just when like the criticism becomes, you know, overtakes the art, I guess.
Another thing that your question made me think of is like we started this band. We were very specific that the type of band that we were starting was a jam band, you know, and not just a band that jams or like an improvisational ensemble. And Chris described it really well. It might have been in the interview for you guys, but that's just like we have songs and the songs stretch out and we return to the songs. It's not a bit like, and the composition. So you were asking about like what's more satisfying, the like funky jams or the composition, and I think like it's the marriage of both that makes a jam band, you know, like we're not going up and just being like, all right, you know, somebody pick a key, here we go, it's totally free. Like it's about stretching these songs as far as we can and then finding our way back into them. That
the structure,
which like totally free is not a bad thing.
We're not saying it's bad. It's just not what
you know.
We are.
Dave does that all the time. Probably doing it this week somewhere in LA.
Right.
He does that all the time.
Absolutely.
But and I did one show with that, which was like really mind blowing. But yeah, I feel like the band that jam band, that we were sort of setting up to be had tunes that the goal is to sort of see where they'll go, whether it's a total breakdown, whether it's somewhere totally different. Can you get back? Do you need to get back? But always leaving from a specific place is is like part of it for sure.
And returning most of the time, right? Like that
unless you want to leave the jam unfinished.
Right. You got to have the superscript.
I mean, Yeah, exactly. Oh, is that what you call like closing out a jam like 3 shows down the line or something? Is that? I
Yeah.
haven't heard
Then
that
it's a
term.
reprise. If it's in another show, you finish it. It's a reprise. If it's
No,
the
it's
same
a reprise
show,
if it. No. It's a reprise if it's a different arrangement of the same song to be utilized as a climax or a recall. If it's just closing it, you're just closing the jam, man.
Closing the loop.
Nerds. No, honestly, what you guys are saying actually makes perfect sense because I was trying to figure out why I enjoy listening to you guys so much, and it's because you are unapologetic. I think that's the quote, right? You are a jam band, and you're proud of it, and you're not like shying away from it. And I feel like there's almost like a stigma with some other people that were kind of jam bands, but they don't want to get like stuck in that thing. And you guys are like, fuck it, we have success elsewhere. This is our project, right? We want to be a jam band. It's awesome.
At one time, record companies didn't want to call bands punk. They came up with new wave because nobody wanted to embrace that label. And the people who did were very true to what they did. I think the same is true for you guys. You are very true to what you're doing. Be damned the other side.
I think there's power in the embrace, and I've more as a consumer viewer than someone as part of it. I've seen a lot of the keeping at arm's length, the idea of being a jam band or whatever. I mean, I went to the first ever Jammies. I fucking love jam bands.
Nice.
Oh, you should check out the Wookiee Awards, by the way.
Like this is not something that's like a put upon or some sort of costume for a quick buck, which believe me, we are not.
We're happy to make.
We're happy to make.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I think for all of us in our own different ways. I think Alex and I probably the most similarly, like a long held love. That's like, it's really cool to kind of explore. And part of that exploration is being like realistic about what it is we're doing, which is a very specific thing.
It's really funny because when Chris and my other bands like were getting popular, or like at least 10 years ago, early days of those projects, like we both were sort of like becoming known as like these guys who weren't afraid to admit that they like jam bands. That's kind of like the context under which we met each other. Like Chris wore a Fish shirt on SNL, and I was like, oh, it seems like the Vampire Weekend guy likes Fish.
The infamous Philly shirt, huh?
Came back to me, there's like, did you see the drummer Vampire Weekend? Like, because I was like the other guy in this world. But I really think it's weird and funny. Like now, like we can get to this. I saw my first Dead & Company show last night, first one ever. Finally broke the seal on that. I had a good time.
Last night's show at Shoreline.
Yeah.
Nice. That was a great, man. That second set was great.
Yeah,
I was watching it. We were watching it. I was at the Dodger Stadium show a couple nights ago.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like that. Like hipsters abound at Dead & Company shows. It's more jam bands. That's no longer like a dirty word in that community as much. I mean, we still find that, but it's weirdly like the jam bands are like, well, we're not a jam band, we like the jam.
Too cool to be labeled, man. Too
like
cool to
other
be labeled.
bands, but like, and for us, it's just like, it's a band. Come on in,
I mean, you're not going to be able to hold up the ruse for more than like 5 minutes anyway, max. Like you show up to a show, you're like, yeah, they're a fucking jam band. So you might as well own it. Hey, Llama, you have anything you want to jump in? I know you're a little quiet sometimes, but you're the one that turned us all on to this band. So I feel like we should throw
Come on in, bud. Come on in.
All right. So exactly how did this all start? I know you said it was an email, but like how did the collaborations and how did it go from an email to where we are today?
Well, I think, it started off with Dave was talking to a mutual friend of ours, and Mike was just kind of like, why don't you? This is like about a little over a year ago. Yeah, a little over a year ago. It was just like, all three of you guys like this stuff. Like, why don't you just talk and see if something comes up? And so it was an email like that. We had a little Zoom, chopping it up, seeing how the personalities mix, and then Dave came over to this studio, my place in LA.
This very room.
And we played a little bit. Okay, this seems cool. And then Alex came down for the first time, and all the roots of collaboration and musicality there's a lot of variations therein, but it was really just like, should we start a jam band? And the answer was obviously yes.
I mean, I honestly thought it was going to be a text thread for like 8 months and then disappear because these things happen. You're like, we started, and I was like, yes, unequivocally, yes, this is a great idea. But I live up in Marin, and these guys are in LA, so I've been coming down a lot. I've been in LA a lot more, and I have like some history of being in the city. But they called me after they got together for the first time. They're like, it's good. I think this could be good. When you coming down? And I was like, oh shit. It's like one of those moments when when you're like realize that I was like, yes, so I can come next week, and then after the first time we played together, which was in here in this building, it was fairly obvious that we had something cool going on. Yeah.
And that was like the earlier this year, right? Or last year? Like that wasn't that long ago.
Last summer, like late last summer, early last fall, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, what year is it? COVID year really fucking.
Did you write all the songs at once? Could you have a smaller body to pull the songs you pull from? Were they all come together at the beginning, or
a couple legitimately did come in? Like one, the song "Darkness on the Edge of Midtown" was something that was a couple bars that I pulled out of a jam. That was one of the first 3 things we did. That I was listening to. I was like, oh, I could like kind of loop this, and then wrote over it, and then we kind of arranged it from there. So some of that earliest stuff like became things that are still with us.
Totally free jam. We came down to write, but the first thing we did, like we had a whiteboard out. We had I had a few songs sitting around. Chris had a few songs. Dave had stuff, and we basically smashed it all together. And we brought this room that we're sitting in here right now. We call this the chord room. So as opposed to the boardroom, but this is where we sit and all 3 of us can play guitar, which is helpful. So we just kind of sit here with nylon string guitars and work it out. And Dave's really direct, and because he has experience as a producer. So I'm like, well, I have this song kicking around, and he'll be like, that's really cool, except when it goes to that one part there, it sucks. And so let's change it. And I'm like, it does suck at that part. Yeah.
You are right, sir.
Everybody gets their egos in check, which is something that's really cool. We're becoming closer friends by being in this band, which is super fun. There wasn't as is the case with our other bands and Dave's too, over a decade's worth of history and ego of oh, somebody writes a song and they think one part sucks, but how do you even say that? This was just let's make the best tunes possible.
So refreshing too. That's a really great way to be creative and to collaborate.
Well, I was waiting to hear who the producer was in this mix because I don't want to out CT here, but CT came on and had some sound, was asking about sound and saying, I'm not the sound guy. And it was just kind of funny going, you guys started your, whole project right there in this room. So I was like, okay.
I mean, I can record guitars and drums, but routing through a digital audio into a browser, I can't. You
guys actually sound like shit right now. You have no idea what it sounds like on this end. It's totally distorted.
Welcome to wook+. We sound like shit.
That's why we named it that.
I'm actually talking through a drum mic. I mean, I am the same way. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
I have a question for you, Llama, actually.
All right.
Well, and maybe this is a surprise, but why are you not flying out for Choice Fest? I think you're our biggest fan,
Oh, it's not in the budget.
All right, that's a totally fair answer.
Starts with a W.
Yeah.
I tried to come to you then.
I tried to get him to get out here for it.
That sounds good.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, not enough notice to plan the PTOs.
Right, Toner Rap will be there.
I will be there.
know.
Yes, I will be there. I am very excited.
I don't know. I don't know.
Where's the Toner Rap?
Do you feel like you can formally represent wook+ singularly on your own?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I bring some people too. I'm bringing a nice crew, so we should be able to rep pretty well. So it'll be good. It'll be really good. I'm planning on. I don't know what the rule is with everything, but I was planning on bringing my 8mm film camera and shooting some fun stuff at the festival and shooting you guys and having some fun with it and creating some videos and stuff. Actually get some footage of you guys and some stuff and put it out there and do some stuff.
You are not on YouTube. Yeah. You guys are it's a barren wasteland when you search Taper's Choice on YouTube.
You get one
2-minute video.
I guess that's true.
I mean, I feel like the people that are excited about us it's more of an archive audio thing, but film away, my God.
Are you guys going to be around hanging out most of the day, hanging around the whole thing, during the
yeah, for sure.
All the other bands are really cool. If anybody watching this hasn't heard any of them, check them out.
Isn't it Mountain Brews?
Yeah, Mountain Brews. Didn't you do an interview with those guys recently?
Llama did, yeah.
Yeah, it just
Jake
came out
did,
today, actually.
Tyler.
Yeah.
All right.
So that'll be cool. Yeah. So I'll find you guys too during the day, and we'll do some. I don't know. We'll just do some goofing around. We'll try and film a little bit with the phones and get some content and push some stuff out there. I'm looking forward. It's gonna be a great day. I'm so excited, and I'm get to be the first one to see you guys out of the crew. So I get
He's
bragging.
even going to miss the avalanche for you.
Yeah, I know, and I'm missing the hockey game. I'm missing it tonight, and I got to miss it Saturday night for you guys. So there's a lot of love there.
Do you think that most of the American hockey fans are also jam band fans? I feel like there's like a real hockey jam kind of cross.
100%.
I thought
The issue
100%. And I mean, look at Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band. He always wears a hockey jersey behind the drums. So
I know Trey lead a "Let's Go Flyers" chant in Camden
right.
one time. Yeah,
that's right. And actually, I was at the show they played in Chicago right after the Blackhawks won their first Stanley Cup a few years ago. And Trey, they beat Philly for it and kind of said something at the show. I was like, "Oh, you guys beat my Flyers, but congratulations anyway," and that kind of thing.
And Fam was at the Blues show where the Blues won, and they did Gloria.
And they did Gloria. Yeah, Fam and I were both there.
Oh, you guys are both there? Okay, I have a good story about that. Is actually that Vampire Weekend was playing St. Louis the same night. And I went to say hi to Mike backstage that afternoon, and Ezra came with me. And we were just talking. We saw everybody backstage. It was very, very cool, especially I was completely freaking out, but playing it cool as one does. And we were both bands, sets of people were talking about oh, if the Blues win, we got to learn Gloria, huh? Which was I don't know if it's all the time or that season was the Blues winning song.
That season,
So we both played versions of Gloria that night. Ours was, I feel like theirs might have been better. Theirs was definitely more complete. Everyone was playing, ours was a little bit more just keys and vocals, but that was a very cool moment for me. That's
awesome.
Us playing across town, same tune.
And the whole city, just playing a show that night when the city that you happen to be in is winning its first cup and beating that. The whole thing was just, it was amazing. The electricity everywhere in that city that night was incredible. And as good as that Gloria was, the Loving Cup that they played right after that was what really hit home. That was really the moment. But that was
that's the mustard.
Exactly. That's the part is they won't just do the one thing; they'll do the two in a row bits. To
really to really knock it home, to really settle the joke or put it in there in context. Yeah, it was great.
You
that's
climbed
awesome
Mount Everest. I did it backwards.
That's so cool. That's a great story. That's something you'll never forget either. That whole situation, getting to hang out with them. It's something to Fam and I always talk about, just being at that show, but yours goes a step deeper, which is even cooler. That's awesome.
We got to find. There's got to be footage out there, right, of that Gloria moment, because we've got a little video that we put together.
We should do a counterpart, a follow-up.
We could just add it to the OMP. We made a little 1 minute history about that Gloria moment. Oh my gosh, that would be a perfect
part
addendum
2, fam.
to it.
Part
addendum 2.0.
That actually reminds me too. Speaking of covers, one of the things we were talking about today, because we've been, talking on the thread about this for a few days, is you don't play a lot of covers thus far. And I was wondering if that was a conscious decision, or you're just so excited about all the new material you have, you just haven't gotten to that point yet where you've decided what covers you're going to do.
The right ones to emerge. We've played 2 311 songs. If you're
Amber.
We played Amber, and there was also more than a tease of Who's Got the Air, but the 420 show. And I guess the only other cover that we have in the whole live catalog is we did the Dig a Pony riff.
Is that because you were watching Get Back on Apple TV and it was in your head?
We're practicing, and
honestly though, I can't wait to bust out Dig a Pony again, and I think we probably have to wait a few years for it to really land.
You're gonna make us chase Dig a Pony.
Yeah. We've got rehearsals the rest of the week until the fest. There's gonna be new stuff at the fest. I'm not making any promises. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but it feels to me like a good time to do it.
Heard it here first. Breaking news.
I'm just talking about off the cuff here, Chris. We haven't discussed this at all, really. But
I think it was yesterday morning or afternoon. Alex hit the band jam with, "Should we do a cover?" So he's
there we go.
Well, I feel like I wanted to do for obvious reasons, I wanted to do Frank Zappa's Apostrophe, but that was we never kind of got that together. I think that but I think song titles come in and different people bring them in, and I think we're just one will pop off that we'll do. that one is not super thought out, but I'm sure we will.
I feel like
covered.
Apostrophe is a perfect song to just like keep teasing and throwing out to your fan base, so they're always anticipating it, and then this never give
You
it
never
to
play the
them.
whole
Never
thing.
gets
You
there.
go on like shows on wook+, and you talk about it. You put it on like blogs and
Right.
shit. You tweet it, but
You
never.
guys play a Love Light lick sometimes. It sounds like Love
Dave
Light.
probably.
Well, Dave teases the dead a lot, especially if you listen to the show we did at Dead Night. But is it? Are you hearing it in the bass?
No, in the
There's, like-
guitar, yeah. It's the
Yeah,
I
okay.
guess it's the guitar, but it sounds like you're gonna go like he's gonna bust into the like 69 vintage. That
There's a
vintage
few
of it, not
definitely.
the
Like
Bobby.
I've caught like Fire. I think we've talked about here.
Yeah, we talked about Fire, and Rap.
Yeah, Fire
Well,
on the Mountain. that's
Timberline has a big Terrapin, station to me.
That's almost like
like
an
vibe.
homage.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so
It's
wonderful.
awesome. Yeah, it's so.
I mean,
good.
it's a really, I love that word homage, right? Because it's not a traditional cover by any means, but it absolutely is a nod, like a very, like if you are Wooks, then you hear that Terrapin, right? But then you just but then you clue right out of it to what you guys are doing with it, and it's so fun. Like we've been listening so much to it, like, and that subtle communication that you guys seem to already have. And what I've noticed is like some of those teases or some of those things are almost like, hey, let's get back to the song or something like that. So like how like quickly you guys been able to improvise? It sounds amazing, but like to me,
Do you have
just
a
to pick
secret
that up.
language?
Yeah,
Did
you
you
guys
talk
like
to
how
each
are you
other?
talking? Yeah, tell us a little bit.
I mean, Dave will often signal like I'm ready.
There's a lot of eye contact.
But a lot of eye contact happens in the flesh too. But we're getting better at just knowing. I mean, I have to say, like, our first show, which there is a tape of somewhere, is not on the archive, but our first show was recorded. I was terrified, more nervous for that gig than I have been in a gig for so long, because like the jamming in front of people is like a big leap off of a cliff, especially like, I mean, fortunately, like we got through it because we'd been playing that like pretty heavily that week leading up to the show, and getting to some cool far out places. But it's like, I feel like every show we're just getting more and more comfortable of like, this is a Taper's Choice show. Like we play the tune and we go, and like, we're getting more like, there's less of a like, I have to make this interesting, or because the minute you're thinking about it, you're dead in the water. Like the minute you're in your own head about it. So I feel like we're just getting more comfortable up there, and that's why like you're sort of progressively, if you're following along on archive, like hearing the band get more comfortable jamming and taking the jams to different places.
Yeah, it's so cool to watch.
And
I
that
mean,
has to be-
honestly, that's the neat part, is to really be able to kind of in the moment, because let's be honest, like a lot of these bands that we really, have gotten into over the years, Fish, a Grateful Dead, any of these bands, we couldn't be really their ground floor. And, and hearing kind of the progression as it's happening, we can go back to tapes and things like that, but it's so neat to hear kind of where you guys are at from where you guys are. And it's incredible. And it's just a credit to your all's musicianship right off the bat, and the professionalism you all have, because like it's impressive is what I'm going to say. And I also like want to hear a little more about other influences. Like I hear like all kinds of Genesis, and I told the fellas it's kind of like Peter Gabriel, instead of like going to Phil Collins and being like, let's break up the band, he said, I want to dance, and that's you guys. That's you guys, you know what I mean? It's like this prog dance, mix, and I think it's so beautiful. So like
heavy prog, like Zach has played with members of Yes before, and like he is capable of bringing that to the band, like
Also,
Shredder.
I think it should be said, and I really like this about Zach and his style, is that he does not come from a place of jam band love necessarily, and so I find that having that presence in the band, I think, is great, because he's kind of like learning a little bit, but there's, in a way, he's sort of more of an outside. He's so sick and good, he can do anything, but I like that sort of a different perspective that kind of cuts my deep love, and I don't know, like it could be like too on the nose, but he does something different that I really like.
It's really funny because he likes all this stuff that is influenced like big jam bands, though. Like he loves all kinds of jazz. He loves prog. He's well versed in that stuff. He kind of like came up like learning to play from Marco Benevento like directly when he was a kid. So it's like, like circling this jam universe for like he was like going to see duo shows and stuff. He's like, I'm not a jam band fan, but you guys ever get into Russo Benevento duo? Like, you know, whatever. It's like I'm sure it's like that happens all the time with this band too. Like this is a little bit off the subject, but like people will come up to us because like, you know, we play to a lot of jammers, and then like because of our other projects, like we play to people who aren't necessarily like first on the list to go see like a brand new jam band, but they're coming to see us, and they still have a little like jam chip on their shoulder, and they're like, I don't really like that jam band stuff, but I like you guys. And I was like, I can break it to you, but you
crack the door open.
Like
Newsflash, if you like Taper's Choice, you like jam bands. I mean, that's pretty much
Well, that's a cool influence to have in there too, that kind of keeps you on that other level. And then to your point that you just said, like you guys starting to learn each other's style more, and that thing, it really, that melding and sort of that the painting that you're creating with that is really cool. Like there's all these different elements that go into it. I think that's what really comes through in the music. Like when we listen to it, you can kind of hear those elements in that. So it kind of makes it different and really
But
cool.
it has to be keys though. Like if Chris wasn't a jam band fan, I don't think it works, because I feel like, in my opinion, the rhythm section, bass and drums need to be the patient, dedicated to the jam. And then keys can do whatever musical, interesting shit they want over it. But if one of these guys lose the patience, you lose the jam, right? Like that is the boat that's carrying the jam that allows, you know, the other guys to do the crazy shit that they want to do.
He makes the bed that the Stones all lay in. Like it's up to you guys.
Name for our rhythm section within the band.
The banana boat.
Yeah, the banana boat. I would say also we talk a lot about 70s German like psych bands like Can and Neu, and you know, there's a band called Agitation Free that like, and Popol Vuh, like these bands that I listen to and love, and then I just learned like they were super into like the jammier aspects of the Dead and Dark Star and stuff, but bringing it
they came up in Deadcast.
Exactly, you know. And so like, and I always felt that there was more of a crossover there than like fans of that music have necessarily like keyed into, because it's just a weird cultural thing.
The surface cultural cues are so different, like being an artistic German band and the Grateful Dead are just feel, you know, like in a coffee table book, feel very separate. But I agree that there's a lot of shared DNA and shared inspiration there.
So to like pull that back in, like that's kind of where I go if I'm like stuck in a jam. I'm like, okay, what would a krautrock band do right now? You know, like, reset from there.
That's an awesome thought process of like, all right, what are we doing? What would a German guy?
Chris, will you some point? I mean, I have a couple questions about kind of the name of your songs too, and the titles. I think they're so clever, and like the songwriting and the lyrics too are so much fun. But I'm also like curious again too, if you know, there's been really some you know, drummers have really stepped out. I don't know if you saw Mickey. He licked the beam. I don't know if you were there.
The night before.
It was the night before. I think.
The night before, wasn't it? Okay, he's licking the beam. He's licking the beam.
He's licking the beam.
I'm curious if you'll bring in, you know, our guy Fish. He's got this, you know, going a lot.
Gonna be awfully rough on the beaver, I'm afraid.
The samples.
Gonna be awfully rough on the beaver, I'm afraid.
Why did you play twice?
I accidentally clicked on it. Come on, but that was on purpose.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so where's
that's the thing actually is if you play a wrong note once,
you got to play it again.
You got to play it again. You got to play it 3 times. Then it feels like you're
gonna be off.
Exactly. So yeah, sample pads. Are we gonna get kind of, or are you sticking to the traditional kit right now?
Well, in Vampire Weekend, I have a sample pad, kind of in the same position, like over the hi hat there.
Nice. Yeah,
I think,
right. Of course.
Maybe at some point. I don't know. I think to me right now, you know, we're Fish 88. You know,
don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do it. I like your sound the way it is.
You got three more stages to go through before you get to Taper's Choice 4.0, and you can break out the samples, right?
Yeah, if you really want to be a jam band, though, the drum set's got to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
right.
Like,
and maybe move.
But if he came out with all of that, where would you go? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
So good.
Llama, I think we need a website to track all of this shit, the growth of the kit, all the samples and teases. You know, like, I don't know. What would you call that?
I don't know. I'd call it taborschoice.net, but it needs a slogan for sure.
Oh, you don't have a slogan yet?
I don't have a
Salt the slogans. Kevin Hogan here with Hogan's Slogans. You're starting a fan site for Taper's Choice? I got a slogan for you. taperschoice.net. It's where you go after the show. We got boxes of slogans.
If you need a slogan, you need it right now. Come on down to Hogan's Slogans. We're open till 9.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Man, that was an A+ transition.
Subtle. We are good at segues.
That's a legit thing, though, right?
Our .net site, if you're watching this, is out there and it's tracking the set list on the same platform.
It's him. Llama's the one who did it.
Llama, you did it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Llama's on it.
I'm on it from
He's your first fan.
no. Guy Forget is way up
We're like
there.
our third fan.
Yeah.
Third fan.
Top 5 for sure.
Not to make Llama uncomfortable, but it is super authentic to the point where, like, that's all he talks about now. He's really into it.
How did you find us, Llama? Where'd
Yeah, I would be curious about that.
What's your Tabor's Choice origin story?
All right, so I was on this website called Instagram.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
I saw a tie-dye shirt that said Tabor's Choice, and I was like, what is this? So then I went to the Google, and then I went
Great
to
tool.
31122, and I
Like
fell in
one
love.
of your
It was a
buddies
really good
posted
show.
it, like reposted it on
Do you
Instagram or
remember where you saw the shirt?
It might have
It's
been
okay.
from the freezer.
Okay.
something? That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's funny, Llama, because I got it like on Twitter. Skoy went to your show in New York, or well, good for the show. Skoy went to the show in New York and posted a bunch of tweets about the show and like live video and was like, these guys are incredible. You got to check these guys out, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, through that, it was kind of like, oh, all right, if Skoy likes them, let's see what this is all about. So I kind of got on it that way. And then right around that same time, Llama's like, have you guys heard Tabor's Choice yet? I'm like, this is so funny. It's like now 2 people in this circle of mine have like recommended this band. So like, they can't be that bad. So it kind of just exploded, and then Llama took it to a whole new level.
Well, I mean, I legit learned about it on wook+ when Llama made a PowerPoint.
It's incredible.
fun.
It's great, but it's great to see. I mean, the organic growth is what's really cool, and we're really big fans of that ourselves. And like to see that kind of growing like that and just sort of taking on its own thing. And you guys not having very many shows, but playing only these live gigs and getting popular through that and stuff. It's such a cool, like we said, like organic and cool thing to be kind of at the beginning of and see. It's really it's fun for us too. I mean, it's got to be great for you guys, but it's really cool for your fans as well to kind of be on that ground floor and getting in on it.
What I love about, and I think I said this in the interview, but like what I love about being a fan of jam bands is that it feels like beyond the band. It's like a group. There's a very like we mentality, you know, and that is like that's what I want. And that seems to be like, you know, we're small, but there's a lot of us. Well, you can quote me on that. We're small. We're small, but we're tenacious, you know. And there's a lot of conversation, and it's.
Did you get that? Did you get that at Hogan's Slogans?
Yeah. We're small, but there's a lot of us.
And we appreciate that from you guys, if that makes sense too. Because what we spend a lot of time talking with bands of different kinds of jam bands and things, and we're communicating and having you guys be so interactive with us, right, and with your fans, and that it feels good. And so that's what I think Fish kind of early on adopted. I think a lot of jam bands, that model of being as accommodating as possible to your fans. I love on the tapes that I've heard, you guys are you're playing at a library, and you're offering, hey, we got some beer selections. We've got, people are just rolling through trying to check out Harry Potter. and they're listening to Taper's Choice, you know. And so like I just think that vibe is so wonderful.
And I think the best thing I will say is you guys are West Coast. Like I'm so sick. Like Fish is so East Coast that it just
I hate the West Coast bias that Taper's Choice has. When are they going to start giving the East Coast some love?
Don't hit the Midwest.
You guys are so lucky out there. You get all the fucking shows.
We're a West Coast
We're going to get some apologetic fall tour.
Here's the thing, though. We're gonna have fall tour. I mean, that's where
I would love a fall tour, by the way.
But, like, I'm looking to play Worcester, Hartford. But every member of Taper's Choice is from either New York or New Jersey. Most of us from New Jersey, 3/4 of us. So we're a California band because first of all we just thought California needed us.
They do.
So true. So true.
Bands, and California's like, we got to bring up the scene a little bit out here.
Yes.
But rest assured, I mean, we call New York City Jam Hollywood. We've had one show there. it's our Jam Hollywood, and we'll be back. I mean, we're from there. I can't wait for our first Jersey.
You're from Jersey too?
I'm from Jersey. Zach's from Jersey also, which we didn't know when we started.
We'd already we're playing with him before we learned that, but what a great surprise.
Yeah.
Right. And last week we had Low Faber from Got You Wine On from Jersey, and I'm from Jersey. So it's clear evidence.
We're from Jersey.
The best. The best of us are from New Jersey.
Yeah. I like how Tim jumps in there with him. And I'm from Jersey.
Me and Lo and Chris and Alex, we're all on the same level there.
Well, I will say for now, it's great having you guys out here and actually hopefully getting to see more shows since you're kind of out here. And on that note, I'm curious, what venue are you most looking forward to kind of playing in LA from like either, whatever, from the Fonda to the Forum to whatever? What are you guys most looking forward to trying to get into?
Ventura County Fairgrounds.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's got a tradition right there. That's a tradition to uphold.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to a Troubadour show. When are you guys going to play the Troubadour?
It's been discussed in more short-sighted goals. It's been discussed. I mean,
awesome. I can see like there, the Fonda, even the Greek at some point. Like those are kind of like where I could see you guys definitely.
Why not there? The bowl, baby. Let's go.
Well, that's what I mean. You started the Greek, hit the bowl. Like, yes, let's do it. The Forum eventually, crush it. I love it.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
Oh man, I had a question about that song "Walking Around."
Yeah, you got it.
All right, the first verse where it's talking about the dog.
Yeah.
Where did that come to you? Because I think that's one of the most relatable lines that I think I've ever heard in my life.
I honestly have no idea where that line came from. I was trying to write about was that a Little Jimmy line that we cut?
Yeah.
There was like a Little Jimmy's Off to Camp reference. There was Family Dog is 9 years old. Little Jimmy's got a cold.
Got a cold as it was.
But it was sort of like free association. I wrote that song during one of our writing sessions. Like I brought a guitar home with me from this room, and that song just kind of like spilled out. And then Chris and I got together and workshopped the lyrics. It's like vaguely an LA pastiche, and the first verse is kind of like weird COVID lyrics, gumshoes on your mouth type of thing.
Yeah.
But the line about the dog, I don't know. That's just like kind of subconscious dribble. But I'm glad that it's related. It's supposed to be,
It's a relatable dribble that where he's just walking around on the inside, like it painted a really good picture.
I'd rather I want to take a mulligan and give a more Robert Hunter answer to that, which is the dog. The dog wrote the verse, man. The dog.
There we go.
We were talking last week about how songs don't match up. Like this Lou Faber song, me and T got into a thing about what the song meant, and he was just sitting there like, this is cool to hear what you two think the song means, because that's not what I was writing at all.
It makes sense that Llama would ask about the dog in this situation. I'd like to know more about Licking the Toad. That's what I'd like to hear a little more about that song and how that came about. How autobiographical that might be.
Now you can give a Hunter-esque answer for this too.
Right.
Depends on how you want to.
It came from the toad, man. I mean,
nice.
It came from the toad. I mean, it's about. I will say that it's loosely based on a person that I know.
So is Susie out there? Remember Susie came? Susie Greenberg came to
I
show.
can't wait to meet Toad in 20 years.
The person is named Toad.
The person
we'll give you that clue.
Right, but he doesn't want to come out because everybody's going to start licking him, and it's just going to be
it's bad timing.
Should be awkward.
Oh, so good.
Oh,
Mickey might even show up.
Oh, jeez.
I did not like that clip. I didn't watch the show, but I did not like that
out
clip.
a little.
Yeah, a little
Did he
bit.
say it with his tongue?
Yeah.
100%.
He went at it too. Like
He went at it like only Mickey could, and it was very uncomfortable for me.
It's really awkward. It's really awkward. You just know that, again, there must be some sort of ransom over their heads or something. I have no idea what Mickey's doing back there. But
He's learning to fly, man. He's really
Well, to be fair, we're talking about the drum space from 2 nights ago in ways that we otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. When was the last time we had a discussion about drums?
and last night O'Teal came out and got on the drums with them. All 3 of them were on the huge kettle drums. It was pretty badass.
Doing that.
there you go. Shoreline's such an interesting venue. You know,
It's,
Yeah.
it's- I mean, the lot yesterday. So I was like, I live up in the Bay Area. I come down here all the time, but I was supposed to get all the way to LA yesterday, and I drive a Volvo from 1984, and I got to go easy on it through the Central Valley of California, especially when it's hot. So I was like, oh, I'm going to take this is stupid. We're doing the California Saturday Night Live thing. But I was like, I'm going to take the 101. It'll be like more chill. 101 happens to go straight past Shoreline. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just pop in, check out the lot scene. Because I hadn't been to Shoreline before. I know it's crazy. But I just like, and if you, it drew me in. I was like, what am I doing not checking out at least some of the show? Because it's like, if you like squint on Shakedown and Shoreline, at least yesterday, like, it is what I imagine like 1992 Dead was. Like, you're there. You know, the scene was very vibrant, and like, so that aspect of it was like great. You know,
What was the going price for a balloon on lot?
I think it was 3 ice cold fatties for 20. You know,
Yeah.
There you go.
Same at Deer Creek.
Nice.
Deer Creek was 3 for 20.
it's come down. Hey, man,
It was 40 for one.
I had a guy try to charge me $3 for water. $3 for water.
Ooh.
And I was like, and we got
in this economy.
well, that's what he said. Like, dollar waters are over, man. We got to drive. The gas
Right.
prices, inflation.
yeah,
I'm not
man, it is. It's
I'll
tough
cut
out
your
there
break.
on the
2 for
lot.
5. 2 for 5.
Yeah. So what about? So you mentioned a little bit about Choice Fest that's coming up, right? So is that gonna have that type of? You're gonna have some vendors there. Gonna have some real. We're gonna be wooking it out really pretty good, or is it?
We're gonna have vendors. We're working with a guy. His Instagram handle is Blues for Salah. He does a lot of cool of his own sort of Deady influenced designs and other stuff. And he's like kind of on Team Tapers now, handling he's handling some of our merchandising stuff. Like we're working on getting our shop up. So soon, I know everybody's wondering this, you will be able to order T-shirts and tapes and stuff online.
Nice.
Shortly after
I was just ready to do knockoffs. I was telling these guys,
Well,
we
we
gotta put that
welcome
shit
the
on our
great-
site until you guys have it.
whatever you guys want. Like we're totally bootleg friendly. We like want people to do all that stuff. But we're working with him, and he does all these great Dead Nights out here in LA, and he's really connected to a lot of the vendors, and he's putting together an awesome vendor list. But that guy from the Freezer is going to be there.
Nice.
My friend Teddy is not an official vendor. This is like a friend of mine from high school. He's like my high school fish buddy. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, but like this band's making me want to do stuff, make me want to get it on the ground floor. He just made 16 Dave test design t-shirts.
Yeah, we see.
There.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah.
That's the cool part,
Nice.
right? That's the organic piece, right? Is like here you just, it gets out there, and then folks that are like-minded or old friends or connections are made, and so yeah, just what
Actually,
a neat
I just blew his cover. He was like, I don't want anybody to know I'm friends.
We have literally dozens of people watching this right now. So at least a dozen
Everybody's
people
saying
know.
that. We got Tom Marshall to play a song nobody had ever heard off his phone.
Yeah, the Epitaph, the third piece on the Steam Thread trio, he debuted here.
The first piece.
I heard you're gonna have 20% of wook+ at Tapers
right.
Choice Fest.
I've heard that too.
That's right.
Yeah, I got to
We'll be
mail you
there.
the
Coming
flag so
away.
you could represent.
It's gonna be fun. Buying all kinds of merch for everybody too that can't be there. Llama, I know I already got to get Llama a shirt. I know I already got to get other people things. So it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great day.
Pick me up a copy of Choice Tapes Volume 3. That was really good. I like that one.
When are we picking those up?
We gotta.
They're supposed to be ready by Saturday. We'll see.
I gotta send a text about that.
We got a good tape guy in LA. If anyone's looking to manufacture cassettes,
You gotta keep that down.
Wow. LA is such a magical place. You can get cassette tapes made. I mean, that's incredible. No wonder you guys are hanging out in LA and not, Jersey.
Oh,
There's no tape guys in Jersey, I don't think. Is there tape guys?
There's gotta be.
There has
It's like,
to be a
it's like somebody in his mom's basement.
There's a guy for everything in Jersey, and there's a guy who has a guy
in
for
Jersey.
everything.
You just got to know the right place to look.
Yeah.
Are you guys playing with anybody? Like, are you making any appearances with anybody at the fest, or is anybody playing with you guys, or is anybody ever doing anything sharing?
ahead of time.
Do you not want to be surprised?
They let the cat out the bag.
I don't really care.
But it's always. I mean, a sit-in is always possible at a tape.
Right.
The horns are
yeah.
great. The horns sound really cool with you guys. The couple times you've had the horns come in.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole, who's in Dolphin Hyperspace, has played on every single one of our 311 covers.
Yeah.
I was pushing to do a third 311 song. We'll see if that makes it through. I don't know.
Awesome. Perfect. There's another cover. Great.
Old 311 or like a new, like, are we going 1.0 311 track, or are we going like?
I'm not even. I mean, I respect them. I don't know that much about them. Probably earlier, because that's what I know.
Gotcha. Yes, the good stuff.
Perfect. The good stuff. Yeah, exactly.
God.
Well, we got to
thriller.
Here I am repping 311 of all things. I didn't know that would happen tonight.
That's your
but
job,
they-
Pam. I mean, you were the
Spin Doctors guy.
Spin Doctors,
this
Sonic
guy,
Youth,
the
Sonic Youth 311.
How many
Yeah.
311 day shows have you been to?
I have
saw
not.
I saw them in '94 in Boulder at the Fox.
I also saw them
Next
a long time ago. I did saw them open, or that actually, No Doubt opened for 311, and No Doubt was one hell of a band. I don't care. I will stand that band from here to eternity.
Sure.
Wow.
You probably looked at your friend and said, "Those guys are going someplace." Those guys are going.
No, I was like, wow. I mean, what an incredible show they put on. Yeah, and of course now look where they are. Bring back No Doubt. That's my
The
new
reunion tour.
It's gonna happen. And then, like eventually.
Don't ruin the surprise for Saturday.
Okay.
yeah, Choice Fest. That'd be
There we
perfect.
go.
Gwen, bring him back.
That would
to
make
Choice
so much
Fest.
sense, right? That
LA
would make
man.
so much sense.
Of course, in every way.
That should have been the answer to the sit-in and the cover question. We're gonna have Gwen the cover, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That's
So
fantastic.
what's after Choice Fest?
Well, good question. We're trying to plan some stuff. It's a little bit, we got 4 calendars that we're trying to find the loopholes, the concurrent loopholes in. We're working on something for Denver around Dick's. We'll see if that comes through.
Nice.
Oh,
That'll be awesome.
we will all be there. So
We will be.
Dude.
There we go.
I'm really pulling for this gig, so what you guys will know first.
I actually think I heard about this gig today, but I'm not supposed to say anything. But I am looking forward to it as well.
This is unofficial. We're not discussing this.
No, we're not. But I see you.
I mean, there's I think as to when they'll be, hard to say, but there will definitely be. I mean, this is I think more than anything too much fun to not do and keep doing for as long as that remains
We
true.
also have plans through at least right now volume 5 of Choice Tapes. So look out for those. We're talking a lot about our Halloween show, whatever that might be.
Right.
Wherever that might be. There we go.
There's a lot in the tank here.
You should do like Fish does and go to the other coast for Halloween. I think AC would be a great destination for a
That would be
Halloween show.
pretty. I mean, going back to Jersey.
I will promote the fuck out of it too. I
or
will.
not AC and
I think
somewhere
doing
else.
our Halloween show in New York actually has some legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baltimore's nice that time of year.
Fillmore. All right,
Oh,
cool.
that's good. Yeah. So
I just want wait. All right, go on, Llama. I have one
No, go
selfish
ahead.
question before we wrap. Nobody else is going to care about. I was wondering what kind of kit Chris played, and it's like a very just for me type of question. But
Which gig? The LA gigs?
no, what kit?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, you have multiple?
Well,
Oh yeah.
What's your kit that you
I have I probably should specifically say
That's such a badass answer.
no. Well,
I switch up my kit every show.
No, it's more like the less professional version of that. I played DW for Vampire Weekend. Now that I know for sure.
Okay.
But I have like a Gretsch kit that I shouldn't be taking out, like throwing in my station wagon and driving to shows. It's like a little too nice to just like be scratching it up like I'm scratching it up.
Right.
But that is the kit that I have that I played at most of the gigs around here. It's less that I have 10 kits to choose from and more that I didn't grow up drumming.
You don't want to fuck up your nice kit.
I just don't know. I'm not a drum gear guy. Like I know the kick pedal that I like, and that's kind of it.
You want to talk about bass heads? I'll talk to you and one other person listening for an hour. You know.
I went the wrong way.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's awesome.
Llama, you want to take us out? You got anything?
Well, hey, I'll see you guys this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. We'll definitely grab a beer. I'll find you guys. We'll shoot some stuff.
Right, cool.
I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
and then the Troubadour, man. Let me know when the Troubadour happens because I'm there. And anything else out here, I'll definitely be at, and hopefully shooting you guys too. I'd love to get some footage and some stuff for you guys. So
totally.
Have some fun. Awesome.
Llama, what do you got? You gonna say anything?
Thanks for coming on, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Llama.
And hang out for a minute after we can run the credits so we can thank you. Not on air.
Talk about the real shit.
Don't forget the
Taper's
credit.
choice.
I won't take it.
Taper's choice. Good to the last note.
Lilac Palace, for when you let someone into your garden.
Taster's choice. It's not a fucking coffee ad.